You've been keeping in touch with the family of Jason Rezaian from the Washington Post ever since he was arrested last year. What is the family saying today? There has been some disappointment, we know, that this wasn't included in the deal.
You're right that there's a real mixed emotion that you can sense from the family members on this historic day. Jason's brother Ali lives out here in California. They are expressing hopeful signs today. Ali saying that his brother should have been covering today's announcement as a journalist instead of behind bars, because Jason has been in an Iranian prison for almost a year now. Next week, actually, will be the 1-year mark. The charges seem very trumped up. There's charges of espionage, but no proof to back it up. And Washington Post editor Marty Barron has categorically denied all of those allegations. Marty Barron today in a statement says that the Washington Post is also hopeful that this deal today will lead to the release of Jason. And like you mentioned, there are other people as well, other Iranian Americans, some with dual nationalities in some cases, who are also being held. In some cases, these family members have been tried to be careful about what they say. They've been cautious sometimes about what they say because they don't want to affect any talks or any possibility of release. But now with this deal, we're seeing some of the strongest language yet. For example, Jason's brother Ali saying today the treatment of his brother has been cruel and unusual and inhumane. Pamela.
Well, John Kerry spoke about the hostages today, the detainees, we should say, and here's what he said.
Certainly, we continue to call on Iran to immediately release the detained U.S. citizens. These Americans have remained in our thoughts throughout this negotiation, and we will continue to work for their safe and their swift return, and we urge Iran to bring our missing Americans home as well.
But Brian, President Obama didn't mention them at all. I'm curious, what do the family members think of that? Do they understand why the administration kept these issues separate?
Yeah, there certainly has been criticism of the fact that the U.S. has not tied these issues more closely together, at least not publicly. But, you know, the family members, for the most part, have been muted in that criticism, trying again to be sensitive about how much they say and don't say. For example, the Rezaian family today thanking the U.S. government for the efforts that have been made, and they remain hopeful that this deal is a stepping stone toward having, in this case, their loved one come home. Each of these 4 cases you were describing are a little bit different. Each one is complicated. Jason Rezaian, for example, is both Iranian and American. He has dual citizenship. So Iran says they don't recognize his American citizenship at all. But obviously the Washington Post does, his family does, and journalists all around the world believe it's a tragedy and a travesty that he's been behind bars for almost a year. He frankly should be out covering this story today, this historic moment. And so there is a lot of hope and optimism today, because these people have seemed like pawns in a geopolitical process. Now that that process is changing, hopefully their status will change as well.